Hello and welcome from across the multiverse. In this video I should be focusing on the in-universe origins of the Daleks. This means Davros rather than Terry Nation. But of course Terry Nation did write the two main stories that I should be looking at. The Daleks 1963 and The Genesis of the Daleks 1975. By now, and especially in the United Kingdom, we all know who and what the Daleks are. They are a British institution. They appeared in Doctor Who's second story in December 1963, and they guaranteed an interest in and the survival of the show. They are the ultimate hate creatures. Everything that isn't Dalek is bad. Daleks are supreme. They are the masters of the universe. Daleks are not cuddly. Daleks are not diverse. Now, in our world, 1963 was just 18 years after the ending of the Second World War. Now, imagine if World War II lasted longer than the 6 years. With the growth of technology and the scarcity of metals, surely those tanks that we know of would have become smaller and smaller and smaller, finally becoming room for just one man or one woman. And here is your Dalek. The Time Lords send the Doctor to the Daleks' creation on the planet Skaro, in the middle of a war between the Thals and the Kaleds, or is it the Thals? Yes, in the first Dalek story with William Hartnell, the Daleks were called Thals before they became Daleks, but in the Tom Baker story, they were known as Kaleds. Kaled is now the accepted name for the pre-Dalek race and is the one that I will use. But this doesn't necessarily negate the word Dal. For example, I am a Londoner, I am English, I am British, 3 different terms that all equally apply to me and are all accurate. Perhaps Dal could be a nickname, such as Cockney for Londoner, possibly. Maybe the wider Doctor Who franchise, consisting of comics, audio plays, books, and many other assorted plethora of entertainments, have addressed this issue. But I will be consigning myself to the TV programme of 1963 to 1989. In the Hartnell story, the Thals make it clear that they and the Daleks have changed. Whereas once the Daleks were the teachers and the philosophers, the Thals were the warriors. But things have now changed around.
They are Daleks.
Yes, but we've changed over the centuries. Why shouldn't they? The once famous warrior race of Thals are now farmers.
But the Daleks were teachers, weren't they, Tarsus?
Yes, they were. And philosophers, perhaps.
So, does this clip imply that it was the Thals who started the war that led to the creation of the Daleks? And this viciousness of the Thals is reinforced in Genesis of the Daleks. In the latter story, Sarah is separated from the Doctor and Harry and finds herself with the Thal. However, whereas in earlier stories when we met the Thals, such as the Daleks and the Planet of the Daleks in 1973, in Genesis, the Thals are as merciless as the Kaleds. There is no relief on either side of the war. The two rival camps mirror each other in their determination to win the war, the end justifying the means. Genesis of the Daleks certainly doesn't change the origin position of the 1963 Dalek story. We are in the middle of a war. Both sides blame each other, as is normal. There is nothing here that casts any doubt on the Thals' culpability as mentioned in the clip before. It is also worth looking at how culpable the Time Lords are in the creation of the Daleks. The Time Lords send the Doctor back to the creation of the Daleks in the 1975 story Genesis of the Daleks. They place the Doctor and his then travelling companions, Sarah and Harry, in the middle of a battlefield. There's a realism to this war. The fighting scenes at the start of Genesis of the Daleks are just sublime. The scenes in the trenches are harrowing, with landmines, shell-shocked people, soldiers gunned down without thought. We are on Skaro, but we could be on any battlefield in any war in time and space, and certainly on Earth. This could be a well-made war drama for the BBC, ITV or Channel 4. And it is in the middle of this bleak environment the Doctor has to complete his mission for the Time Lords, stop the creation of the Daleks, or at least alter their genetics to make them more empathetic. And it is here that the Doctor meets Davros, the Khaled scientist who eventually creates the Daleks in his image. Davros is a masterstroke, a genius who is amoral. Victory is all that he cares about. He will side with anyone, he will betray anyone, as long as he gets victory through his embryonic Daleks. Victory is everything, but it is victory for his Mark III travel machines, the Daleks, rather than for his fellow Khaleds. For me, the genius was giving him that depth that many dictators have, which is a warped rationalisation of what they are doing. In Davros's mind, when the Daleks rule the universe, wars will end. Ergo, he is a peacemaker, not a war maker. And this goes right back to the first Dalek story with William Hartnell. As you will recall, the Thals admitted in the Daleks that before the war, they were the warmongers and the Daleks were the philosophers and the artists. And Davros is keeping with that original philosophy. Let's have a war that will end all wars, and the Daleks will then forever keep the peace. Now, at this point, enter the Time Lords, or rather the Doctor. At this point in Skaro's history, Davros was the greatest mind alive. But he was also a realist. He knew that Skaro was the only planet in the 7 galaxies that could support life. But with the arrival of the Doctor and Harry, remember Sarah is held captive elsewhere by the Thals, Davros now has scientific proof that at least 2 other planets outside of the 7 galaxies can support life, Earth and Gallifrey. Are there any more planets? So, with this knowledge, the Daleks start venturing out into the universe. So, a lot of questions fall out of this encounter. Would the Daleks have gone beyond the 7 galaxies without meeting these 2 aliens? And is this a direct consequence of trying to change time, making the Daleks a universal rather than a planetary threat? Who knows? I have done a separate video on the ability to change time. The hyperlink can be found in the description, and I have tagged this video to that other video. Now, Earth isn't the only planet to have a history. All planets have a history, and one of my bugbears about science fiction is the way that people are very careful on Earth when they travel in the past, but not so careful on other planets. They do on other planets things that they would not necessarily do on Earth. But this is not what happens in Genesis of the Daleks. They are very respectful here.
What are you waiting for?
Just touch these two strands together, and the Daleks are finished. Have I that right?
To destroy the Daleks, you can't doubt it.
But I do. You see, some things could be better with the Daleks. Many future worlds will become allies just because of their fear of the Daleks.
It isn't like that.
But the final responsibility is mine. Mine alone. Listen, if someone who knew the future pointed out a child to you and told you that that child would grow up totally evil, to be a ruthless dictator who would destroy millions of lives, could you then kill that child?
We're talking about the Daleks, the most evil creatures ever invented. You must destroy them. You must complete your mission for the Time Lords.
Do I have the right? Simply touch one wire against the other, and it's it. The Daleks cease to exist.
This is one of the biggest moral, philosophical, time-altering dilemmas the Doctor has ever faced or will probably ever face again. Does he have the right to destroy the Daleks whilst they are still in the nursery? The Doctor knows that if he succeeds, he will be tampering with time, as no future worlds will ever hear the dreaded word, exterminate. Sarah is the audience when she asks how the Doctor can even begin to doubt that destroying the Daleks is anything other than the right thing to do. These are very big questions, and especially for an early evening children's friendly family programme. Heavy, deep question posed with the Doctor taking one view and Sarah taking the other, and Sarah taking the view that is probably accepted by the viewers and future generations across the universe. But it all does still boil down to that question: does he have the right to tamper? I think the evidence is there that the Thals and the Time Lords are responsible for the creation of the Daleks. Looking at it this way, when the Thals or the Time Lords are up against the Daleks, are they trying to right a wrong that they created? But this then leads us on to another question. How far down the generations do you go before you are excused from your forefathers' actions? And this is a very pertinent question on Earth too. And those are my thoughts on the creation of the Daleks. I'd like to hear yours, or if you've got different views, if you've listened to some of the other things available, such as the audio plays from Big Finish or comic books that give a different view on the creation of the Daleks. So until next time, may your news be good news and happy times and places. Farewell.